Hi there. I'm Robyn Jackson here with your Monday Morning Mindstep, where every week I help you make the leap from being a leader to being a builder so that you can turn your school into a success story with the people and resources you already have. Now, this week's Mindstep is going from addition to subtraction. You see, most of us have a ton of initiatives happening in our district that we're expected to implement. Plus, we have a ton of things going on in our own school as we're trying to improve student outcomes this year. And to be honest, it can be a little overwhelming, especially when there are so many problems that need to be solved and so many things to improve, and everything feels urgent. And so what leaders tend to do is they try to fix everything at once. So maybe you're trying to improve math scores, and you're also trying to improve your first grade reading scores, and you're trying to implement a new kindergarten curriculum and a new STEM curriculum. And on top of that, you're doing benchmark testing, and you're also unpacking the new state test standards, and you're tracking your scope and sequence in your curriculum to make sure that you're teaching the standards. Or, maybe you're trying to increase graduation rates while also expanding AP courses and increasing SAT participation while simultaneously improving rigor across the board and decreasing disciplinary referrals. I mean, it's just too much. And look, I get it. You have a lot of students with a lot of challenges, and all of those challenges feel really urgent, and every initiative and program you choose is going to make a difference for some segment of your student population. Plus, you're also under a lot of pressure to show improvement, to show gains, to put out fires, to please your district and your parents, and also to kind of jibe with your own ideas about where your school should be. But trying to do everything all at once is a little bit like trying to poke a hole through a sheet of paper by evenly applying pressure with all 5 of your fingers. I mean, sure, you could expend a lot of energy, but it's not going to get you anywhere. Here's what builders do. Builders believe in the concept of addition by subtraction. That means instead of piling on yet another initiative, yet another program, builders focus on what they can remove that may be getting in the way of their goals. You see, whenever we face a challenge, our first impulse is to add another program to solve the challenge. And before you know it, you've got 10 different initiatives going on at one time, and it quickly can create overwhelm for your staff. It can create initiative fatigue. I mean, you really can't do all the things and do them well. Instead, what builders do is when they face a challenge, they figure out, what's my goal? Where am I trying to take students? And then instead of adding yet another program, builders look to see what's the biggest obstacle that's currently keeping them from their goals right now. And then they work on removing that obstacle. No new initiatives, no switching of plans mid-year, no piling on new thing after new thing. Instead, builders focus on removing obstacles. And when they do, they gain more momentum, they make greater progress in less time, they see more permanent gains because they thoughtfully removed an obstacle instead of adding on more work. It's addition by subtraction. I mean, think about it. If you add something new without first removing the obstacle, what do you think is going to happen? You're still going to face the same frustration because the obstacle is still there and it'll still hold you back regardless of how bright and shiny your new initiative is. But if you remove the obstacle, you might find that you don't even need the new initiative. And even if you do decide to implement the new initiative, you're going to do so much more successfully because you remove the obstacle first. Addition by subtraction. So here's your mind step for the week. Look at a challenge that you're facing right now. And before you look for a solution, first try to figure out what is the biggest obstacle in your way right now that's keeping you from being successful. Then, instead of adding a new program or initiative, focus on removing that obstacle. In other words, instead of piling on yet another new thing, look for a way that you can add a value by taking something away. That's how you practice addition by subtraction like a builder. And if you want some more help with finding that obstacle in your school, then I'd love for you to join us at Builders Lab. You can get your ticket to Builders Lab at mindstepsinc.com/builders-lab.